Sir.
All right, here we go. All right, we're live.
Let's get it. This is Eternal Underground production.
Super reach.
I know what it is, man. You're now tuned in to the Hodge Podge Sports Show with a picks on target sharper than Katniss 17 with a crossbow. Before you play the bet, let's check with Patrick and Sean first. Unless your aim is that, holler your vibes. Check the stores right. Other stations, we got you covered. Don't waste your time. Ain't no need to straddle the fence. Now you can take a side with competition where you think a gazelle could take a line. If you in opposition, just listen. They will change your mind. This is where you catch them at. And every show a banger like Ray Lewis at the quarterback. I don't perform, you gotta stop people, we'll address it. Don't come on here talking that nonsense and don't know nothing. No hesitation, get put in your place. End the discussion. Ain't no sugarcoating over here, keep it 100. Got a question? We gon' come with the answer like Iris. Yeah. If you ain't know then, you know now just what time it is. Sean, reppin' the city of brotherly love. Philly stand up, Super Bowl 52 champions. Baltimore in the building. Make some noise for his pack. Got Charm City on his back. Putting on for it like Cal Ripken Jr. back with the Orioles. Any sport we bound to dive into. This knowledge room is comical to follow us. Shout out to you. Without you, this ain't possible. You rock with us, we rock with you. I love for us, I love for you. Much love to the fan base and follow the fan page. It's deeper than sports talk. It's something like family. Ever and be more. Best get you a crab cake. Oh, you in Philly say like grab you a cheesesteak. Now run into the sports fanatic that you know online. Tune in every weekend when we going live. Tune in every weekend when we going live.
Let's go.
Yeah. I know what time it is, man.
You know what time it is?
HPS time it is. Let's get it. Let's get it. You're tuned in.
Super reach.
Cause sports breed passion. Ain't no better place to let it out than right here on HPS where we never stop.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Conagra's hitting everything, man. Here, man. Hey, look, about a half hour late. We had some technical difficulties, but you know what it is. It's the Hodge Podge Sports Show here Saturday night. I am Patrick Hodge. He is Sean James Harrison. Baltimore, Maryland, and Philly in the house. We got a packed show, man. Need y'all to keep up with us, man. We're gonna go for about 30 to 45 minutes hard, right? We're gonna talk about the NFL schedule 2020. We're gonna try to hit some key matchups. Got a sweet topic. I can't wait for this one. Sean's gonna be leading this one. The 92 Dream Team. Sean is gonna make the case that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson are the ones that should have been left off the roster, not Isaiah Thomas. I can't wait to get into that. If time permits, we're going to go through the AFC East, the best player that you've seen play. If we don't get to that topic, that's going to be a running topic for us, so we'll bring that back next week. And then I got a couple questions surrounding the Dak Prescott situation that I want to run by Sean if we can get to it, but we don't. So listen, first off, what we want to say is happy third birthday to our man Spencer. Got to see his parade today. That was awesome. So happy third. I know he's already out for the night, but you know he made the show. Happy birthday, Spencer, to you.
Little do you know, he's still awake.
All right. We don't want to forget our manners. So we want to wish all you beautiful, strong, wonderful mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. All right. You know, this Mother's Day, means a lot to me.
Yeah.
My mom is gone. Her birthday was Monday, so it's been a little bit of a rough week, but we don't want to forget the rest of you beautiful women out there, especially the ones that are in our Facebook group and the ones that support our show. So LaDonna, I don't know if you can hear us. I know you're spending time with the family, but we want to thank you. Wish you a happy Mother's Day. Kayla, happy Mother's Day to you as well. Sean, your mom's happy Mother's Day. All you beautiful
same to Steph, man.
Happy Mother's Day. And yeah, man, we took care of her. We got her some nice flowers and some chocolate, so she's good. All right, man, so let's run it. Hey, listen, man, I want to give all y'all people out there in the group a shout out, right? Daniel Shea, thank you, man, for chatting. Happy Mother's Day to Stacy, Chris Charters, Lou Tenor. Gosh, happy birthday to your wife happy Mother's Day to your wife out there. Peyton Jones, welcome. Victor, welcome to the group. You know I'm going to come at you. about this Dak Prescott thing in these other groups, man.
Uh-oh.
So listen, if anybody wants to give us a call, our number's on the bottom there, 888-531-8305. PIN is 50317. Without further ado, we're getting right into this. We're going to Dream Team scenario. Go, Sean.
Ooh, we're starting the night off with it. All right, so I was listening to I'm gonna, preface this and let everybody know where my thought was on it and everything. I was listening to another show that happens to be on Mondays. I'm not gonna say the name of the person's show, nor am I gonna say the person's name, but he knows who he is, and if he wants to call in and try to defend himself, he can feel free to do so. The constant name that gets brought up when anybody wants to say that Isaiah Thomas should have made the dream team, the constant name that I constantly see, and I'm tired of seeing that, be 100% honest, is that John Stockton should have replaced Isaiah Thomas on that dream team. And the word that this guy was using was saying that that Isaiah Thomas could get you 25 points per game, which is funny in itself, seeing that Isaiah Thomas never even averaged more than 22 points per game in his entire career. He also said that John Stockton was nothing more than a system player. You take him off for Utah, he would have been nothing, which is also hysterical considering he's one of the greatest defensive point guards to ever play the game. But that's hearsay. The fact that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson made that team, and people want to sit there and say, well, it's John Stockton should be taken off it. Larry Bird was playing with 2 bum knees. He was at the end of his career, and Magic Johnson was coming off of AIDS. I'm sorry, not AIDS. He never had AIDS. HIV positive, just testing for HIV positive. So sitting there and saying that John Stockton should be the one get taken off the team when the 2 players that were on the team had to get talked into it via Michael Jordan, because people forget that if you watch the documentary like I did, and I'm sure Patrick did as well, Michael Jordan contradicted himself in the documentary. He first went and said, I had nothing to do with Isaiah Thomas not getting on the team. I had no say in who was on the team. Fast forward 2 minutes later. He says, yeah, me and Magic had to call Larry to convince him to be on the team. So how are you going to sit there and say, I had no control who was on the team, but then so you tell me that you had to call Larry Bird to convince him to be on the team with Magic? But don't understand it. If you want to sit here and tell me that Larry Bird and Magic should have been on the team because of what they meant to the game, that's BS. You could have made them team ambassadors. You could have put them on the coaching staff in some capacity. They didn't have to be on the team playing when they were only going to play 4 or 5 minutes a game anyway, and they were basically useless when they were out there. All right, like the constant. It's turned into a scenario where people, and this is one of the reasons I hate these conversations, these GOAT conversations, these best of conversations. It's we want to take a player that's great and another player that's great and do our best to make the one player that we like more look better. So we have to diminish everything that the other player did. And it's no longer just a back and forth about who's better and who's worse. It's a back and forth about this guy's. It's basically you're completely diminishing everything that player B did because you want to make player A look 100 times better, which I just think is just horrible. So, yeah, Patrick, I'm not sure what you got on that, but
I didn't really give much thought to this until you brought it up, and I'm thankful that you did bring it up because I think that you have some valid points there. I think that it's crazy to realize that John Stockton only played as little as he did.
Played no time at all.
That whole 92 season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got to thank Sean, for bringing that to us because he had it broken down by the minutes. I think right. I think there really shouldn't be about Isaiah and Stockton, and I think a lot of that goes to disposition, right? Because they're both point guard. So
Magic was point guard.
Where the easy. True. But it probably comes down to that. But no one. How can I say this? I guess I'll just say it. Isaiah has never been thought of as royalty in the NBA for whatever reason, right? When you think
no, it wasn't.
When you think about the people that are surrounded by Michael Jordan, right? It's always Bird, Magic, Barkley, and Ewing, right? That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Isaiah only gets mentioned
Mhm.
in regards to the Jordan rules and the bad boy era, right?
Mhm.
That's a discredit to Isaiah, how good he was and what he meant and what he did, how he won a championship basically on one leg. I don't know if you remember that. You know, that's the age difference between you and I, but this cat got hurt, played in the championship and lit up the Lakers. Man. Um, you know, here's the thing, right? And this may surprise you. I have not watched 1 second of this documentary.
Really?
I haven't. Nope, I have not tuned in. I have not tuned into it, and I have no reason why. You know, I don't love Michael Jordan like everybody else does, but I don't hate Michael Jordan either. Um, I appreciate the greatness of him, but the things that are coming out now are some of the things that I kind of thought that he was, because you can't be that great and not be somewhat of an, right? You know, all great players have that little bit of an asshole to them or something about them, right? And now the stuff that I'm hearing, like taking meals away from Horace Grant and things like that, like who does that? You know what I mean? I know
Well, I
I'm
mean,
kind of getting off topic, but yeah,
it was
you
when he
know,
played bad. That was after a bad game. After a bad game, you don't get no food.
yeah, you don't get like, what?
Hell,
Like, come on, like
I wish somebody would do that
and
to Joel
you know,
Embiid. I mean, come on.
right? But you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you in regards to it shouldn't be a conversation between Isaiah and John Stockton. It really shouldn't. It really shouldn't be. And you know, and I know like we the one guy that we respect that's in our group, he was giving us a scenario that like as to why Bird and Magic made it, and I like what he
Yeah.
said, and I know that's not who made the comments he's referring to, but I like how he came back and then kind of explained to us the roles, but that still doesn't make it right. But when you come up with those things, it's all about popularity and who's in the know, right? So and
Oh
plus,
yeah.
right, what what good story doesn't need a villain and a good guy,
Well,
right? So isn't it cool keep this thing for years and years about who kept Isaiah off the team, right? Are we really ever gonna know who was really behind it?
no.
I
And
mean,
that's the thing. Is
you
like
know, we know. Go
no.
ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say yeah. You know, that's the thing. Is like we can sit here and say that we know indefinitely that it was Jordan that kept them off the team. But also you can also say maybe it was Magic that kept him off the team because we know him and Magic had bad blood, and because of the latent comments of Isaiah Thomas calling him a homosexual, that they definitely created bad blood. But this is the same thing that I said on that person's show, and I agreed with him on this point. Like if you actually had a problem with that person, and for instance, like Patrick, if you heard that I was saying that I said something about you, who's the first person you're going to call? You're going to ask.
You.
That exactly. That's the point. Like anytime that you have a problem with somebody, you have a problem with, like, especially a close friend. Why would you not go talk to them directly? Why would you play this he said she said game? So I mean, you can take that and take that into factor on why he didn't make it. But I think overall, the reason that we all know the reason Isaiah Thomas didn't make that team is because every player on that team didn't like him. Isaiah Thomas played for a very unlikable team, for a very big group of unlikable people. Like and the worst part the part that's the worst about him not making the team was his head coach was the coach of the team, and he still didn't make it. So it's because the players that were assembled, none of them liked you because you were excuse my French, an asshole for your 14, 15-year career in the league. I don't even think you played that long. But the whole time you were in the league, you were unlikable. Whether you want to blame it on Lambeer, or you want to blame it on Dumas or Rodman, that's fine. You made your choices. You laid your own bed. You now have to lay in the bed that you made. Period. The end. And it sucks. It is what it is. But in the long run, I did not have a problem with the people that were on the team that made the team. I'm cool with who made the team. It's fine. But for somebody to tell me that Thomas should have made it over Stockton because he could get you 25 a game when he never averaged more than 22 his entire career, that's asinine. You're stop it. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that he's gonna somehow get you 25 a game when he never even averaged more than 22 in the NBA. Like, come on now, stop it. He might be
Do you know?
Go ahead, Lou.
Excuse me. Hey, Pat. No, Pat. Hi. I called in on the show. I'm a guest. I had a question because I'm just listening. Do you mind if I tune in?
No, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this. Who we talking to? I'm sorry.
My name is Victor.
Hey, Victor. What's happening, man?
What's up, Victor?
I saw the jersey. I'm sorry. I thought I saw the jersey number. And I thought you were a regular. No, man. Absolutely. Chime in, bro. What's happening?
I'm here too.
Okay, I thought I saw you out there.
Hey, I mean, I'm just listening to it.
Okay. All right. Well, we just going
to I was just listening in.
Okay. Appreciate it. You got anything to add on the 92 Dream Team, what Sean was talking about?
Well, I'm just listening to this conversation that the gentleman is talking about, saying that John Stockton was a better point guard than Isaiah Thomas. Now,
when did I say that?
Because
when did I say that?
John Stockton. Did you not just say that?
No, he didn't say that.
I never said that. I said, and I quote, that the reason Isaiah Thomas didn't make the team was because he was an a-hole his entire career. That's what I said. And I also said that to tell me that Isaiah Thomas could go out there and get 25 points per game when he never even averaged more than 22 points per game is asinine. Never once did I say John Stockton is a better NBA point guard than Isaiah Thomas, because that would be false. But John Stockton, if you're going to ask me who's better to play, who people think is better to play with, people are going to say John Stockton. He's a better teammate than Isaiah Thomas would be, because Isaiah Thomas has built that reputation.
Got you.
Yeah. Okay.
Got you.
Yeah. No worries. Keep going, though, Victor. Good to have you on, man. Good to have first-time callers on, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's a trip, right? Like, when you think about that 92 team in that whole scenario, it's a trip to think about that, right? And I mean, when he brought that up to me early in private, I was like, wow, I can't wait to get into this, because we got a lot of NBA heads here and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. Lou, what do you think?
Well, if you ask me, go back to the 92 team, I think that they did make one mistake, in the lineup, because, you had Leitner, and Leitner really didn't establish himself as a pro yet.
You need one college player.
So I think they should have kept him out, and they should have let Isaiah in.
Well, the problem with that, Lou, is that you need one college player in the game, in there. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's a rule, that they need to have one college player in it. And if it's not a rule, that's something that they've honored the entire time they've done the NBA Dream Team, the NBA Dream Team, the Olympics. They've kept one college player on the team. And if you could argue to me that, no, you can't even argue that, because Leitner was the best college player at the time. But if you wanted to say Shaq should have made it over Leitner, I would hear that point. But Leitner was the best college player at that time, so it's hard to tell me that he shouldn't have been on that team based off of his college career. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Krzyzewski already the assistant coach for the 92 team? Or was it Pop at that? No, it was Krzyzewski, was it not?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, it was Coach K was the assistant coach at that time. So yeah, I mean, it all made sense, because you had the assistant coach from Duke getting his player to come in with him, and that just happened to be the best player in the country at that time. And like I said, I believe the rule was they needed to have one guy from the college rankings on the team.
All right.
I'll tell you what, if Keith would know a lot better than me on that, but I'm pretty sure that is accurate.
I think you're right there. What's up, Nate?
All right.
What's up, fellas?
Hello, Nate.
Just to, I know we were talking about it on Tuesday.
That's right. I called in them as well.
Isaiah Thomas with nobody else.
What's that
He
mean?
doesn't know how to work with others. He doesn't work well with others.
No, I think
And
I think that's true.
I have no remorse for him, and then he tries to ask for sympathy after he already crapped on everybody else, and no one is going to give him that sympathy because of the way he acted towards everybody else. It's just that simple.
Nate, that's a great point, dude. That's a great point.
When he played basketball, he crapped on everybody else, right? As a GM, he crapped on everybody else.
Mhm.
As a business owner, he crapped on everybody. You know what I mean? He's not, and the difference between him, when people try to compare outside of basketball, him and Michael Jordan knows how to work with folks to get what he needs. He may be his personality may be blunt, a-hole type, but he knows how to make deals and work with others so that everybody eats. That's the number one rule in business. Isaiah never picked up on that.
And Patrick, Nate, you're right there, and it's a great point because now Isaiah is trying to play this I'm the victim card all of a sudden, and anybody that knows anything about basketball, at least I don't want to say watch, is just paying attention, knows better than to sit there and pretend like he's the victim in all this. Him walking off the court and not shaking Jordan, not shaking the Bulls' hand, that was wrong. He should have did that. Plain and simple. Him getting that bad boy label on that bad boy Pistons team, that was wrong. You got that label from being, like I said earlier, an a-hole for so long, and you had the whole league hate you. What he did, and the funny part is when the way he tried to justify walking off the court when he said, "Oh, the Celtics did it to us. I had to go chase down Kevin McHale." So just because somebody else did it to you makes it right? What did we all learn growing up from your mom? 2 wrongs don't make a right, right?
2 wrongs.
2 wrongs don't make a right. I'll tell you what, two wrongs give you 2 red ass cheeks, though. That's what they give you. Now, listen. You
Hold on, Sean. Ted says Sean borrowed Hulk Hogan's mustache. Go ahead, Nate. You wanted to say something?
I'll get an yeah. Wait a minute, brother.
With my handlebar, goatee going there. Retro look of 1980s. I appreciate you, Sean, for making me feel like 80s.
You can use that right about now.
Ain't that the
with the
truth?
Fry Kids. Anyways, I can't have I refuse to have any type of sympathy for Isaiah Thomas. He made his bed. He wanted this image, and this is what happens when you try to create an image such as that. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're supposed to rise above other people who are jerks to you. That's a true sportsman. Yeah. Plain and simple. When they won and old boy from the Celtics didn't go and shake his hand, okay, what? Mm-hmm. All right, you still have the championship. You won. They can't take that away from you because he didn't shake your hand. It doesn't work that way. But you can still rise above and say, you know what, I'm going to set an example. Let me shake everybody's hand on the Bulls, and give them the props for beating us fair and square. And that's exactly what happened. Right. I can't stand unsportsmanship. That's a horrible example. And I can't say that, these guys aren't going to be role models for kids because kids look up to these guys. And so this is my generation that I'm talking about. I'm 38. So I remember watching this guy. When I was a kid, I remember my dad said, "Don't be like that jerk." That's what my father said to me when he watched the Bulls win and beat the Pistons. Don't be like that jerk. That's not who you are. And I said, okay. It was a valuable lesson as a kid.
So you want to be like Mike.
That's right. That's right. Be like Mike.
that was a great commercial. It was a great marketing scheme.
Well, the problem is too many people still want to be like Mike.
Oh boy.
The one The Last Dance. I think some people may have changed their minds.
No, they won't. Listen. Oh boy.
No.
No, I don't even want to go down that road.
Nope,
I mean,
nope,
Lou,
nope.
you would think the comments.
That's one of our rules here, man. We don't talk about it. One of our rules.
Yeah,
We don't bring that
that's
up.
right. We don't.
We
don't
that's
bring it
what
up,
we don't have many rules. That's one of them. That's our only one.
Right. You would think common sense would
apologies.
prevail. No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Can bring it up.
That's a me and Patrick thing.
We just don't engage in it. But you're free to bring it up. But you would think common sense would prevail a little bit and open the eyes somewhat to Jordan, and it just never seems to come. And I don't know. That's all I got. I don't know. That's all I can say about it.
People talk about this back and forth enough for the both of us. And my biggest thing is I've always said I try my best not to comment on it, but I do not agree with watching people make stupid comments and not getting tested on them. I've told Patrick this before.
Yeah, that's it.
I do not allow people to make a comment that is stupid, idiotic, asinine, any one of those above words, when just get away with it.
I think that's fair. I mean, I'm just, there's, I don't know. I mean, like, let's just, you guys have watched this documentary, so you can tell me more so than I can, right? It just seems to me, he came out beforehand and said that, he was worried about the bad press he might get from it and all that, but he had to prove everything that's being shot. So it's not like he needs the pub one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you didn't know Jordan was a smug a-hole before this, then you weren't paying attention. This is just showing. I think more than anything, we all know he's great. We all appreciate the hell out of his greatness and what he did for the game. We all know that. But I think this, more than anything, it showed his willingness to want to win and all that stuff. But it just shows how much of a smug, arrogant a-hole he really is.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Like I'm not sure about you guys, but he was like this as playing. And I don't know how you guys didn't see it when he was playing. The way he talks now is the exact way he was talking in the 90s. And you still have people that are just all over this guy. But let a player talk like that today. Any player talk like that and be arrogant and cocky and all that stuff like that today, you guys would ridicule them. You would hang them on a cross. You'd be ready to light that match and throw it right on them and watch them burn.
How about a noose?
Oh wow, that's a bad choice of words there, fella. But point taken.
I'm just saying, like, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But with what Jordan did in the 90s would never be tolerated today.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, you're right. I mean,
social media might take a big part of it.
Russell Westbrook, people get upset about him. So yeah, it's I don't know. You're absolutely right there.
Yeah. Is Victor still on the line?
I think he's still out there. I know he said he was just going to be listening, but I think he's still there.
I'm still here, and I want to. Is it okay
if I
add something in? I wanted to just.
Oh, Victor, yeah, that's why I was saying your name. If you ever at any point, because I know that you're a first-time caller, if you at any point ever have something that you want to say, we've run this like a round table, so just you can hop in at any point. Patrick will shut one of us up, and you can keep going.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Well, I just wanted to add this, that I heard someone on this table say that they didn't like athletes who weren't sportsmanlike. And I have to agree with that, because the individuals, the way that we put them on a pedestal, and the power that we're giving these guys, some of the stuff you hear about, and I have to point this out, but that incident with Earl Thomas, I would kind of equivalent this to kind of like how you guys are saying, back in the day, these guys were jerks. Well, I look at that kind of stuff, and I got to kind of put that in that category. Now, I know he's not hurting one of his teammates, but just that look, and Earl Thomas, he's a very respectable safety in the NFL and a Super Bowl champion. And so when I look at that, and then also you look at like Percy Harvin, where I'm not sure if y'all heard about this, but what Percy Harvin had did with Russell Wilson's wife, and that's what got his butt shipped up out of there. There was, what was that little dude's name?
You mean Golden
Fisher.
Tate?
And he was messing around with old dudes. Do you remember when Derek Fisher was messing with
Yeah. I remember that.
And then my last example was when Kevin Durant had the nerve to say, "La la tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios." So
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh God! Oh, I forgot about that. Damn.
I remember that.
So
it still goes on, fellas. Yes. And then even when Draymond called KD a B, these dudes, it still goes on, guys. But the thing that I think is important that should be looked at is when you're looking at this documentary and you see these guys later, the regret and remorse. So you think some of these young guys will look at that, take a step back, and really change the approach of how they deal with each other and how we deal, period, with everyone around you.
I agree, man.
Teammate.
Very well put. And it's something that I'm a huge, being a Sixers fan and whatnot. I'm a huge Charles Barkley fan. I always have been. One of the best power forwards to ever play the game. But his "I'm not a role model" speech that has been made famous. I'm not a role model. Don't view me as a role model. Then get out of then this isn't the profession for you. Whether you like it or not, you are a role model. Whether you want to be or you don't. You chose this lifestyle. All that money that you're making, part of that is to be a role model. Part of making those millions and millions and millions of dollars is to be a role model to young kids around the world that watch you and want to grow up and be like you and play like you and act like you. So that's why I'm always taken aback by players that act out that are outwardly unsportsmanlike, like Victor just put it. It irritates me to a point, especially being, I have two young kids, both actively into sports, and all of us have children and whatnot, and our children watch sports, and our children want to grow up and be like said person. Like it's makes it really hard. I don't want to say really hard, but it makes me as a parent have to navigate even more so who I want my kids to watch and who I want my kids to idolize versus, who I don't. You know what I mean? Like I shouldn't have to worry about that. If you're making millions upon millions of dollars to play a sport, to play a game that we all loved playing in the backyard or on the street, wherever it may be, you grew up and you were able to jump a little bit higher than me or shoot a little bit better than me or run a little bit faster than me, and now you're in the NFL, you're making millions, and act like a role model. That's the least you can do. The very least.
No, I hear you. And just to clear a couple of things up, right? So just so we're clear, it was Golden Tate that messed around with Russell Wilson's wife allegedly, not Percy Harvin, and then it was Kevin Garnett that made the Honey Nut Cheerios comment.
Hold on.
Did I say Durant?
You did. You're good. You're good. But listen, since you went on that, I got one more to add to this, and y'all probably forget this one. But how about Tony Parker sleeping with what's the guy that won the slam dunk contest for the Spurs? The white guy, Jerry West's son.
No, I have no clue. There's a way better one than he didn't bring up. How about the bull that slept with LeBron James' mom?
Delonte West.
Like how y'all gonna forget Delonte West? How you gonna forget Delonte West? My man thought he literally slept his way out the league and to being homeless. Like,
what's the kid's name that played for the Spurs, man? Jerry West's son. What's his name? Brent what?
Brent West. Maybe it's Jerry West's son.
Maybe it wasn't. I'm sure it was his son, man, because he had two sons that played. Or maybe it wasn't him.
I don't ever remember. I don't remember a white guy ever winning the slam dunk contest.
Yeah, he did. He might have been. he might have been a Clipper then, but maybe it's not Jerry.
Brett. Hold up, is it Brett Berry?
Yeah, Brent Berry. Sorry, Rick Berry's son. Brent Berry. Yes. Sorry, I knew I was getting the name and stuff. Yeah, because they played too, and his brother's like a coach now. Yeah, Tony Parker slept with his way. That's why dude left. But yo, the Matt Barnes one and the Derek Fisher one is funny. Cause you know Matt Barnes went after that cat. You know what I mean? Like,
well, Matt Barnes was one of those dudes that could have played for the Bad Boy Pistons.
Oh man, could he? Man,
he could have.
Yes, sir. So
I just want to add this, fellas.
Yeah.
Somebody who's really getting it for stuff that he said is Antonio Brown, right? Look at Antonio.
Yep.
And then one last name I'm just going to drop is Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper.
People don't even listen. Outside of Philadelphia, I don't think many people are going to know who Riley Cooper are. I ain't going to even lie to you. And I don't want to say what's funny is, but the interesting part of that whole thing is after he said what he said, the following year was the best year of his career. My man, he had that was the Nick Foles 27-2 year, and he had 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. After that, he never did anything else.
Yep.
I mean, that's this.
The true thing you got to remember, man. What you plant today, you harvest tomorrow, and I think these guys are learning that.
Ain't that the truth? So speaking of that, that's a great segue into Nate. Talk about this driver. He didn't leave us, did he?
What driver?
Did you ask me a question, sir?
No, Nate. Nate, you still out there? Is he on mute? Guess I can check this.
Mm-hmm.
Nate. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. So anyway, so we move off that. So
thanks. Appreciate it.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Because I know he was talking about on a couple of different platforms, and he had a lot more information about the league that he's going to and outside. I wanted him to get into that. But let's hop, skip, and jump over to the NFL schedule, man. 2020.
You know what's funny?
I said to you, right? What's the point of having a release show if all the schedules are going to leak before the show even comes on?
Yep.
What's the point? Like that made no sense to me. I can see if you want to leak one game here or there, maybe the Thanksgiving games or something like that, or something like that. But I'm like, all these games are dropping. Then next thing you know, we're getting everybody's schedule. Everybody's pounding their chest, predicting what their team's going to do. And ain't nobody played a snap. Ain't nobody had a preseason practice. Everybody's talking about teams are going to be 8-8, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5. But I got one question, though, man. I said this to you, but how the hell did Giants get 2 Monday Night Football games?
That's that's the first thing you asked me. Literally right when the schedule came out, Patrick texts me immediately and goes, "How is it that he's a Cowboys fan, I'm an Eagles fan. How is it that we combined got 2 Monday Night Football games and the Giants by themselves got 2?" And my response to him was simple. It's still the Giants. I mean, it's funny because they're arguably going to be the worst team in the NFL next year. You can make a strong case for them being the worst team in the NFL next year. And yet they're going to get 2 Monday Night Football games. I don't know who they're playing, but I mean, it better be the Redskins and the Browns because that's the only 2 teams that it might be a close game.
Man, I think one is against the Steelers, so that kind of makes sense.
The Browns were Monday night game.
Well, I think the Browns got a Monday night game. I think the Browns got some.
I know, well, they worthy of it.
Yeah.
The Browns are going to get a Monday night game just because of the appeal to Baker Mayfield now.
Correct. It's all about redemption, right? It's all about what Miles going to do. It's all about what OBJ is going to do, and how if Baker Mayfield is going to come out of his sophomore season. I think he will, but I just. It's still the Browns, man.
Is there anything funnier than these Browns fans and these Baker Mayfield fans telling me that they're? This is the same. I feel like they're the one fan base I have the same conversation with every single year. Every year we have the same conversation.
You know who else
where they're going, we're going to make the playoffs, and we're like, what do you mean? We don't even know if your team's going to be 8-8 this year.
I gotta tell you, man, there's another fan base that's really irking my nerves right
now. Is it the Titans?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ah, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't mind the Titans because most Titan fans, they're realistic. They'll pump their chest, but then they'll take their lumps as well, right? But these Steelers fans, man, so.
You got a Titans fan on the line.
I know. We know. Yeah, I know you're a Titans fan. I don't know shows, but he knows now. But so. And you're not alone in our group, man. You got a lot of family.
You got a nice little Tennessee following in our group. Don't you worry.
You following our group, so you straight there.
Well, I just got to tell y'all, I'm all the way out here in Salt Lake City, Utah, holding it down.
We appreciate that. Yeah.
Tighten up, right?
Sir, tighten up. So, but here's my thing. Right? The Ravens went 14-2 last. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers went 8-8. Now, all I'm reading is that if Ben Roethlisberger comes back healthy, or even halfway healthy, that they're going to win the division. So, Sean, Lou, Victor, I ask you this simple question, and we're going to go Lou, Victor, then Sean. Is a healthy Ben Roethlisberger worth 6 games?
It's a lot.
6 games.
Yeah.
I
think he's worth 6 games.
No. So maybe I didn't ask the question right. Let me try again.
6 more wins.
They went 8-8. Yeah, they went 8-8 last year. The Ravens went 14-2.
Yes.
If the Steelers have healthy Ben Roethlisberger 14-win team, I'll ask it to you like that. That'll make more sense.
14 wins, no.
Okay.
I would say maybe 10.
Okay. So he's worth 2 wins in your eyes.
Being honest.
Victor, what do you think?
Right. Okay.
Well, that's a good question. And you really got to look at the schedule. I don't have it in front of me, but knowing that they play with the Baltimore Ravens and with the Cleveland Browns, who I quite frankly think that the Cleveland Browns are overloaded. They got way too much and don't know what to do with it. And then you got the Steelers. I don't think the Bengals are going to do anything. To answer your question straight up, no, I don't see an extra 6. But I will tell you this: you cannot underestimate Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin. And also, I believe this year they actually drafted a little bit higher than they normally do. And I like the way that the Steelers always do in the draft. They always come out with some solid players. So I wouldn't underestimate them, but I can see them winning 12 games.
12 games? All right. Sean?
I got him for 11 or 12.
Okay.
It's funny because that's right about where I was going to say. I was going to say from the 10 to 12 range. That's what Ben Roethlisberger would be worth to me. 2 to 4 more wins. To say he's worth 6 more wins, I think is to tell me that miracle is an understatement. To say he's worth 6 more wins when he has had like 6 back injuries in the last 1 to 3 years. I mean, what more? He's becoming Tony Romo. He's broken down. He can't play. He can't play a full season anymore. The Steelers, their backup is still Mason Rudolph, right? They didn't sign, unless I missed something, they didn't sign somebody to actually back him up that can actually win them games yet, right? Like, they're still screwed if he goes down again. For what it's worth, they have a very good defense. They probably have They probably have a top 3 defense in the league right now. I'll give them all the credit in the world to their defense. You have Juju, who looks like he's a good number 2, but can't be a number 1. Or he needs another guy that's a very good number 2 with him to make him a good number 1. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what you're going to get from James Conner right now. So there's a lot of question marks on that offense. And your biggest question mark is your quarterback. Your biggest question mark going into a season can't be the most important position on your team. So I cannot say that they're going to, win the division and or get 6 games better next year. Could they win 10 games next year and be a wild card while the Ravens win the division with 12 to 14 wins again? Yeah, I could see that. But for me to say that they're going to overtake the Ravens because Ben could be healthy and to say he could be healthy next year but he's going to get hurt by game 5 again, no, I'm good.
Yeah. So it's not a knock on Ben because Ben is proven, right? But he's also getting older. He only played 1 game, and then, as one fan will tell you, the 1 game that he played, he was hurt. But you know how we roll, Sean. You can't claim injury if you play the game.
Wow.
But certain fans from that fan base will tell you, oh, well, he was hurt that game, and they'll show you an outdated article that says he was hurt because he didn't play in the next week. And I know you're on the line, so I'm jabbing you. I'm jabbing you on purpose, right? Only because we love you. But so I'll say this though, right? So the question is a tough question in regard to this. And Mo, I'll let you get in on this. So it's really assuming that Baltimore is going to win 14 games again this year, which they may or they may not. But this is what I know. Baltimore got better in the offseason so far, right? So, and what I'm saying is that I just don't. Ben Roethlisberger is not the Ben Roethlisberger of 5-6 years ago. So even if he comes back 100% healthy, he's not going to be that guy. And I don't know if he has the offensive weapons around him to support him the way that he may need going into the twilight of his career. No question how tough he is. No question how good he is when he's healthy. But he's going to feel added pressure to do more because he doesn't have AB84. He doesn't have a true number 1 receiver. Juju has not picked up that mantle, like you said, Sean. And Mo, you said this to me as well, that we can't depend on James Conner to stay healthy. But the one thing that is very encouraging, and it's a staple of Pittsburgh, and it came into play towards the back end of the year, is how that defense came into shape. Yep. So I don't expect any letdown from the defense. They weren't that good to begin with. At the beginning of the year, as the year went, if they could have got any decent quarterback play, yeah, they could have snuck into the playoffs. But to think that Ben Roethlisberger coming back healthy, which is a question mark because they don't know if he's healthy, right? They haven't had a chance to really see him and examine him to find out if he's fully 100% healthy. They expect him to be, but no one knows right now if he is. But to expect him to come back and expecting them to make up a 6-game lead or 6-game deficit on Baltimore, who got better and is only going to continue to get better, that's a stretch. Now, can Pittsburgh make the playoffs? Absolutely, with the healthy Ben Roethlisberger. But I just don't know if him coming back 100% healthy is tipping the scale enough for them to say that they're going to win. Go ahead, Mo.
Okay. So I agree that Baltimore is going to win the division. I can even say, I'm not going to say the Steelers are going to get there, but both games were close. So if you think about it, the Steelers win 1, they only win 13. That puts the Steelers in the playoffs. The problem that I have, though, is there's tape on Lamar Jackson. So people are going to know what to expect now. And all it takes is 1 hit for him to be out. What does Baltimore have at their backup? You think RG3 is going to stay healthy? I just see it the other way. I see it that Baltimore is going to come further back, where everybody's going to get more. We're Kansas City's team now, but at least worry about Baltimore as much. They're going to be prepared. I see the Steelers continue to 6 and win the division if Baltimore comes back to 11-5, 10-6. I still see the Baltimore win the division, but I see us getting in, and that's the most important thing is just getting in.
I agree.
That we can
I agree.
That's it. That's
Why
it.
not
Now,
wear it for the 7?
yeah, getting in
That's
is
all that matters.
getting in is all you need. But I'm gonna say this though. We act like Lamar Jackson can't take a hit. The guy's played a year and a half in the
Thank
league.
you.
He's been hit. Let's get off this. Only
I literally wanted to ask him, like, what history of Lamar Jackson being hurt do you have?
Like seriously, like seriously.
He's never been hit like James
he's
Harrison
been
hit someone. Not that James Harrison is on the Steelers, but I'm saying I've never seen him take a hit.
He's taking a hit. I mean, come on. He's taking a hit. Why?
Think about it. They win. They win. They win.
Listen.
Every time you see him move right before he's about to get hit.
You and I live right here, so we get their games every week. So you know he's been hit. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I haven't seen him been hit like a real quarterback's been hit.
Come on.
Because he's elusive.
He is elusive, but there is times where he's been in that pocket and he's been hit. He's been sacked. He's been hit. Stop it. And I'm
gonna say this real quick. Does Russell Wilson ever really take a big hit? It doesn't matter how if you take a big hit or not. It matters how you take the hit. That's how you can play for so long. Russell Wilson knew how to absorb a hit. Eli Manning knew how to absorb a hit. These players knew how to avoid getting hit hard. So this way, their play would be longer. They would have longer longevity in the league.
I absolutely. And first of all,
yes, but all I'm saying is we actually did get to him, and he threw in 3 interceptions in our game.
Correct.
San Diego got to him in the first playoff season that year,
and he got hit. And he got hit hard in both of those games.
And the team didn't have to hit him because they got up on them, so they took away the run game.
They took away the
run game from Baltimore. They got nothing. They got nothing.
You know,
I don't see
that. Can I add?
I can't disagree. I can't disagree with you there. Go ahead, Vic.
I just wanted to add. I believe the Baltimore Ravens last year broke a record that was from the 1960s. Okay, so what they're doing in Baltimore, as far as rushing the football with a rushing record, a team record, we've never seen this before. And so you say that you can stop that run and this and that. I don't see it happening. But I will say this.
Think about the last game, Vic.
Well, I know. It was against my squad. I saw it. And I'll tell you this, we definitely, I feel like we helped them. Okay? We had the big passes by Tannehill, and we had the perfect storm. We had Derrick Henry, and like I said, the 2 early touchdowns to Ryan Tannehill really put us ahead. That's how you got to play them. But my last point was this: is that in the AFC, I do see that the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got a chance to make the playoffs simply because of addition by subtraction. Meaning this: Brady dropped out of the AFC. That opens up the AFC East. First of all, the AFC East is soft as Charmin. You feel me? I mean, they soft. You know what I mean? We got what do they got? The Bills. Okay, so like I said,
don't sleep on the Dolphins. Don't sleep on the Dolphins.
I think because remember this, for the past 12 years, Tom Brady, or whoever knows, however long Tom Brady's been playing, he's held a spot in the playoffs. And I don't know how y'all feel, but I don't see Stedman or whoever the heck they got out there taking them to the playoffs.
You know, so I like that.
I think Bill Belichick's gonna miss the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
But I'm gonna go back to something. Because this is another thing that drives me nuts, and I understand it holistically, but it's a team game. Baltimore's defense did not show up in that playoff game against him. So I'm not going to put that loss on Lamar Jackson, like, oh, that's how you stop him. But Mo, you made it right, and you said that's how you stop Baltimore. But Baltimore is a run team. Nobody runs the ball like they do. And only thing that Baltimore is missing is really another outside receiver, because this kid can throw the ball. Baltimore's going to be prepared. You said there's tape out there. The tape didn't do anything to really slow him down last year, because the tape was out the year before. So everybody's going to Tennessee did not stop Lamar Jackson. Tennessee beat Baltimore's defense. They did not stop Lamar Jackson.
How do you win 14 games and get stopped, though? I'm confused.
That's my point. You can pull up the stats from that game and look at
what happened in the Tennessee game.
Look at Lamar.
I agree.
Listen,
we didn't stop him.
You didn't stop him. I mean, they didn't stop him. Listen, Derrick Henry was running through that Baltimore defense, man.
Wait! You stop a quarterback by keeping him on the sideline? That's breaking news. Holy hell! Somebody call CNN. In order to stop the team from scoring, you keep the quarterback on the sideline. Damn, if only teams could do that against Tom Brady for the last 14 years.
That's how you beat Baltimore. You run the ball down their throat.
But only one team was really able to do that, and that was in the playoff game. And
that's because yeah, exactly.
Baltimore came out flat, and they just took it to them. I mean, not taking anything away from Tennessee, because Tennessee put it on them. You know what I mean? But
Henry put it on them, dude. Like you said, like Victor said, that was the perfect storm for Tennessee. In the worst case scenario for Baltimore is that Tennessee got rolling, it got hot at the right time, and that's all sports really is getting hot at the right time. Tennessee and Kansas City both got hot at the right time, and they were in a collision course for the AFC Championship game. Once Derrick Henry's legs, because if you look at the first 5 or 6 games that Derrick Henry played, it was not good. It wasn't until Ryan Tannehill took over for quarterback to where Henry really started moving. So all of that kind of was that Baltimore Ravens game was kind of the culmination of their entire season coming together at one time. If you tell me if they play that game 10 times over, I'm taking Baltimore 9 out of the 10 times. That was the one Tennessee won because everything was right for them.
Yeah. But I feel the same way about San Francisco too.
Lamar Jackson has played 2 playoff games. Playoff games. They lost them both.
Yep.
Each time as the AFC North champion.
Mm-hmm. And that means
all I'm saying is there's tape out there that people don't care about the regular season. People care about they're not going to show you how they're going to beat you in the playoffs in the regular season. Everybody proved they can beat them in the playoffs. That's all that matters.
I understand that, but the only thing I'm saying is that they didn't stop Lamar Jackson. That's what I'm saying. Right? They beat the Ravens, man. It wasn't they didn't do anything to him, right? I mean, that Tennessee's offense put it on Baltimore's defense. I mean, the Ravens came out slow. They had turnovers and things like that, but at the end of the day, people can say they're hollow stats or garbage time stats. That really doesn't make any sense because the game is played till the game is over, right? So they really didn't do anything to neutralize Lamar Jackson, but they did win that game. That's all I'm saying. But Sean, what you said, I feel the same way about the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think the 49ers are that good. They have a dominant defense.
I guess exactly.
Right? But you know what I'm saying? But they play good team ball, right?
Oh yeah.
They won a game by throwing 8 passes, right?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like they smashed Green Bay like throwing, so did San Francisco show us on tape how to beat Aaron Rodgers, or was it that they just ran through Green Bay twice? I mean, I get what you're saying, Mo. I do, but so to keep that moving, I'm going to say this, and I guess I'm the minority on this. Until Bill Belichick doesn't make the playoffs, I'm not buying that he's not making it. I don't know.
I agree with you.
I don't know if Jarrett Stidham's the guy or not, but Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick, and nobody thought he was the guy either. And look what happened. I'm not saying Jarrett Stidham's going to be the next Tom Brady, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a believer in the Buffalo Bills at all.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
Nah, I told you that.
Really?
I told you that last year.
I know. I still can't believe it because I think the Bills might have the most underrated coach in all of football. I think Sean McDermott's is. Oh, I love Sean McDermott. Give me Sean McDermott any day.
Why you like him? Stop playing. We know where he comes.
Why do I like him? Because I like him because his defense. Because he's a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah, that ain't why you like him. You like him.
Listen. He got Andy Reid ties. What do you want from him? Leave my man's alone. But Patrick, what the more like I agree with you though that I don't think it's hard for me to bet against Bill Belichick when the only time he hasn't made the playoffs was when Tom Brady got hurt and Matt Castle played that whole year and they went 11-5 that year when Matt Castle played and only missed the playoffs by 1 game. So I mean, so it's hard for me to go against Belichick.
Right, and here's what I'm gonna say. Right, right. The AFC East is still the AFC East. Right. Jets will be a little bit better. The Dolphins, they'll be better.
I don't think so.
Dolphins will be better because
no. I don't think the Jets are going to be better. I think the Jets are doing a horrible job at trying to do anything for Sam Darnold. It's very disappointing seeing a quarterback that has the potential to be very good, and they're doing nothing to help that guy.
What do you mean? They just drafted offensive line. They got a receiver, man. Come on.
What's the receiver's name? What's the receiver's name?
I don't know. CeeDee Lamb.
Okay. Thank you. You don't even know the receiver's name.
Jalen Ray.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Why I think Miami is going to win that division?
Oof, been saying it.
There's two teams that won with impressive wins at the end of the season last year. Miami in the regular season and Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Miami went to New England and beat Brady, made Brady leave the AFC.
Made Brady leave.
Oh, God. I'll tell you what, I think Miami is going to be right there to win that division, though. I don't think they're going to, though, because they're not going to have the experience at quarterback they're going to need to win that division. But their defense is going to be tough next year. Their defense is going to be real tough next year.
Well, you got to take into they also got the toughest. They also were given the toughest schedule in the NFL. So as you guys are making all these comments, please take that into consideration. Y'all talking big game, pounding your chest over Bill Belichick. Tom Brady left, man. All right, so I got to be objective. I can't sit back and just listen to this because I got to tell you guys who's going to do this. Stedham last time we even saw him, he threw an interception and was pulled off the field. And you guys over here getting excited about that? We gonna see.
Hold on, pipe down there, Utah. Nobody's getting excited. He fits in real well with the show, though.
He does. Oh, I like him.
He fits in real well with the show. But going back to the question, Sean, Denzel Mims, wide receiver from that the Jets drafted. So to clean that up. But so nobody's getting excited about Jarrett Stidham. Like I came back on that. No one's getting excited about Jarrett Stidham. All we're saying is that we've seen this before, right? Vic, we've seen Belichick do this before. And let's be clear. Mo said that Miami made Brady leave. Listen, Bill Belichick tried to trade Brady a couple years ago. So this at the end of the day, it's really not a shock that Tom Brady left. However he left, whoever made him leave, it's really not a shock. It's sad because that's kind of one player that you would like to see stay with one organization because what they've done. But and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This divorce, is it going to be about either of them? You know, so everybody's quick to write off New England. Everybody wants to appoint Buffalo or Miami to the division because Tom Brady. So Tom Brady has been on the decline the last couple of years. The best thing about New England last year was New England's defense. And that defense is still there, right? You know, they lost Van Noy and they lost another guy, but that's just what New England does. That defense is still there. Stephon Gilmore is still there. Right? The best cornerback in the league is still there. All right. So, you know, and again, they still got the Jets. They still got the Dolphins. They still got the Bills now have to live up to that hype, right? I don't know if the Bills are equipped to live up to that hype. Like a couple weeks ago, we were saying that the Bills don't have a true number one running back. I'm still not sold on the Bills receivers. You know, you got a nice mix of that kid. You got a nice mix of Beasley, Brown, and Diggs. But let's be clear. I don't even want to get into it, but Stephon Diggs, what has he really done? And they got a haul for him. John Brown, he's a nice number two. We know what Cole Beasley can do. He's one of the better slot receivers, but you still got a quarterback that's very inaccurate and is still growing. As he grows, the Bills will go. So if we're ready to elevate Josh Allen, then we're ready to elevate the Bills. If we're not really ready to elevate Josh Allen up the ladder, you know, the quarterback ladder, then I don't know how we can elevate the Bills up either. Is all I'm saying there. And I like Josh Allen. I think that he's going to end up being one of the better ones as time comes on. And I like the Bills. I'm just not sold on Buffalo. Doesn't have anything to do with the coach because I actually like the coach as well. But is there anything else about the 2020 schedule that caught anybody by surprise? You know, anything that or was everything kind of like expected the way that you saw? Anybody can take that one.
It caught me.
And the Steelers won.
That caught you by surprise?
Yeah, that's a big game. You don't need to put it on Thanksgiving. You're already winning whenever you put that game on. So you're already gonna win whatever game you had on Thanksgiving. So it was just a surprise to see that rivalry be on there, but it has been on Christmas before, but that's always on a Sunday. I'm surprised you put the Ravens and the Steelers. Thanksgiving.
No, I'm not, because that just goes to show you how the league is viewing Baltimore. Because one thing that I can tell you is Baltimore does not get a lot of primetime games at all, and I'm surprised by it. Pittsburgh, they're a brand, right? Pittsburgh, Dallas, Chicago, for whatever reason, Green Bay, Raiders, they're all brands. New England, they're all brands. They're all going to draw, right? So I think that's just the tip of the cap to the rivalry and to where they view Baltimore and where they think Pittsburgh is going to be. I told Sean this. I would have loved to have seen Pittsburgh and Philly on Thanksgiving night. I would have loved to have seen that. I think that would have been cool because the proximity, and I think that rivalry should be beefed up a little bit. Or I would liked to have seen Pittsburgh come to Dallas on
We never beat Philly.
Thanksgiving.
Say it again. Say it again. Big Ben never beats Philly. He cannot beat us, and I love it. I don't know why.
We never beat.
It's just like Matt Ryan always has a bad game against Philly. It's weird.
Yeah, but
True.
but some of the things.
I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the part that I didn't want to say was surprised me, but it was like, so last year was it the Bucks had one or two primetime games? Now they got 5.
Yeah. Now they got 5.
Now they got 5.
That really surprised you though? Come on,
I didn't say it's surprised. That's why I said it didn't really surprise me. It was just like, damn, really? Like, is it that important? Like, I mean, I figure the first game of the year when they play the Saints, that's I think it's a primetime game right off the jump because it's Breeze Brady.
That's what surprised me.
The first game of the year, Brady Breeze.
Yeah, that surprised me a little bit there. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'm kind of sad that we didn't get some match too. Like, I'm surprised that I wish we would have had the New England Tampa Bay matchup. I wish we'd have a Texans.
They're starting it off with the Super Bowl matchup we always wanted. We always wanted think about over the years with Brady, like all the quarterbacks in the NFC that we wanted to see Brady go up against. We never got to see him go up against. We never got to see him go up against Rodgers. We never got to see him go up against Breeze. It seems like the elite quarterbacks, we never really got to see him go up against them.
No, they played. I mean, maybe not recently. I mean, because it switches by division each year, so they played. But I hear you though. But
I'm talking about in the Super Bowl though. I'm talking they never played in the Super Bowl. Like those are the Super Bowl matchups we wanted to see. How many years in a row did we want to see Rodgers versus Breeze or Brady versus Breeze or Manning versus Rodgers or Manning versus Breeze? We never really got to see those. I think we saw Manning Breeze actually. I think we saw Manning Breeze actually.
Got a good point there. So, a couple of things that I've been reading up on and things like this, and the way that they have this schedule built. And Sean, I was texting you about this, and Mo, you might have come across this as well. But at first glance, it was going to be the first 4 weeks. It was going to be all AFC versus NFC, and then it was going to be the AFC North against the AFC North against the NFC East for the first 4 weeks. And I don't know what happened to these plans or whatever, but the first couple of games, the way they have the schedule built is that they can roll. I believe it's the first 4 weeks. They can move all those games back to the end of the season if they have to. And I think it's either week 4 or week 5 where there are no division games. It's straight AFC against NFC in one of those weeks, and they can move those back. So when you go through the schedule and look at it from a holistic view, NFL has built in some contingency plan. So that might be why we're getting some of these really good matchups, like Tampa Bay at New Orleans right off the bat, things like and a couple of things because Sean, like it's kind of weird that the Rams are starting right off with 2 games against the NFC East, so they're going to go 0-2. They're going to come.
That's another team that can't beat. That's what I tell you. I don't want to say it, so I don't want to jinx it. But you know what I said to you about.
And I dare him to come on my show and tell me differently. But anywho, they're going 0-2 to start, so they're in for a rough year. But so there are some contingency plans built in to the schedule. So I was just curious if you guys have noticed.
I thought we were supposed to get. I thought we were supposed to get our 17 games this year. Is that next year?
Next year.
And that's next year.
21.
So, okay, so next year is when we start the 17 games and the 1 extended playoff team. So we'll go to 17 playoffs. Okay. All right. I thought that for some reason I thought that was going into effect this year.
No,
it's
playoff team.
Yeah, the playoff is this year. So that's when it starts. So the extended playoffs start. The extra game comes on.
So just so everybody's clear on that, and so now just the number 1 seed is the only team that's going to have a bye. Everybody else got to play.
Correct. Everybody else has got to play.
Damn, dude! All those years are just going for that 2nd seed.
Yeah. Yep. So listen. Like I say, NFL is one of the major sports where every game matters.
Oh yeah.
So that never changes. Hey Mo, when's Pittsburgh's bye week? Is it late?
I want to say week 8.
The reason why I asked that because I was reading something the other day, and this might come into play too, because Dallas doesn't have a bye week like week 10, and with the extra preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, if that takes place, they'll go like 14 weeks without any time off. So Pittsburgh will go 12 weeks without any time off.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Since we're on the subject.
Yes, sir.
Should Dallas trade Dak right now, man?
Man, you kidding me?
Well, listen, Victor, I'm going to tell you something before he answers this. There are very few things that Patrick is protective of. One of them is Dak Prescott. Now, I'm going to sit back, and I'm going to enjoy this.
I saw you.
Let me just say something.
Go ahead.
Let me say something before you respond, please.
Sure,
I just wanted to say this. You see, Andy Dalton is not a scrub. If you look at these
statistics, I agree.
And we brought excuse me, give me 1 second. He's no scrub.
No.
He played in a division with the Pittsburgh Steelers, also in a division with the Baltimore Ravens, 2 teams that have claimed, I believe, 4 Super Bowls total in the past 15 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then let me just read you this stat. It says, since 2011, only 6 quarterbacks have hit the following marks: 30,000 passing yards, 200 touchdowns, and 70 wins. And let me read you who's in company. I got Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and that man in Dallas, they call him the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. So my thing is this. Yep. You guys just brought a guy in-house who can ball. And so why not get rid of the guy who we ain't talking to him? You know what I'm saying? He don't want to talk to us. He don't want the money. He's sounding stingy. Don't sound like a team player to me. I actually like Andy a lot. I think if you guys plug in Andy and run with that and get rid of Dak right now and get value that the Cowboys, instead of giving him that big check, you see what I'm saying? And they get some draft picks for Dak. That's what I would do personally.
Hashtag free Dak, baby. I love it. Hashtag free Dak.
Does anybody else want to respond to this question?
Can I? Can I?
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely. Go. Either one.
Go ahead, Mo. Mo, you can go first.
I heard John word earlier, so I had to turn it off because I was with my son. That's asinine. You don't get rid of a guy who has taken you from being a 4th-round draft pick that has never made money and get mad at him because he wants his money now. He has not complained.
No. Hold on.
Wait. Answer for the rest of the team. He just deserves less money than what he should make, and that's
not what I'm saying. No, hold on. Wait. What I'm saying, he doesn't want to even talk. Okay, but yes, on this basis though, that Dak does not want to play ball with Dallas. Now they wanted to make him a quarterback that was paid, I believe, $33 million a year, which would be I don't know this. I don't have it in front of me at the time, but I believe he probably would have been one of the highest paid quarterbacks. And so the fact that Dak keeps pushing them back, well, what do you and you know what? I'm even going to tell you this. I believe it's going to happen. I'm not saying he should do it. I'm telling you Dallas is going to do it. Watch. Why would you bring in somebody as established as Andy? You see what I'm saying?
I think his whole contract is $4 million over 4 years. So now you're complaining about him saying something about making $30 million.
No. I'm not.
Just made $4 million. The dude has never been paid. He's trying to get paid. He's trying to make up for the money that he's lost, that he's been the starting quarterback. He should be trying to get the highest contract right now, because when the cap goes up in 2 years, everybody else is going to pass him again.
And that's exactly why he wants a 4-year contract that's why he wants a 4-year contract and not a 5-year contract, because he wants the chance to be able to re-up again after 4 years and not wait for 5 years. So I agree with him on that point. But there's a but. I also agree with Victor I agree with what Victor's saying to a point. There is no reason for you guys to sign Andy Dalton to that kind of a deal if they don't have it in the back of their head that Andy Dalton, that Dak might not sign. That fear is in their head that Dak might not sign.
You're kidding me right now with this nonsense, right? So let's go here. So first of all,
let me just add this. Hold on, let me add this in before you respond, please. Can I just add this, that the Dallas Cowboys, like I said, it would be a really smart move. And yeah, you don't bring in a guy like Andy Dalton, who has a resume like he does, and is a 3-time Pro Bowler, and has taken that team to the playoffs. I don't believe it's fear, whoever said that. I believe Jerry Jones is a very smart businessman. And if you guys, again, look at the proof in the pudding, look what's moving. What they're doing, they're setting up to sell Dak. And I would do it because solely on this. You're going to get Andy at a good price. And then on top of that, you can probably get some for Dak right now. You can probably get a first and a second. Go ahead.
Oh, my God.
I disagree with the second part of that, but
please do not interrupt me. Let me pontificate and respond to everything that you said. So first of all, Dallas is not trading Dak. If Dallas was going to trade Dak, they would have put the other tag on Dak where it would allow Dak to go out and get other offers when they could have matched the offer, or they could have traded him. You're not trading Dak Prescott at this point, seeing that the draft is already concluded. All the quarterback slots are taken up. So what are you going to get from him if you decided to trade him? You bring in an Andy Dalton at $3 million because now you have arguably the best backup quarterback situation in the league. Dak Prescott has been fortunate enough to take every snap through his 4-year up to this point. So if I have my choice of having Cooper Rush, who's thrown 3 passes over 2 years, or bringing an established veteran like Andy Dalton, if I think my team is in a position to win a Super Bowl, I'm taking Andy Dalton all day. Now, Andy Dalton is an established quarterback, but the last time Andy Dalton made the playoffs or Pro Bowl was when? You just boo-hooed and poo-pooed on Jarrett Stidham, but I believe Andy Dalton got benched last year in Cincinnati. Mo, you playing that division. He got benched, correct? Correct, Patrick. He got benched.
Yeah, they wanted to see my quarterback from NC State, see what he has. They knew they were trying to get the first round draft pick.
He got benched. So now what Dallas has done, Dallas has given themselves a very good insurance policy. And if you're a fan of your team, you want your team to put your team in the best position. John, we had a conversation last year, and we talked about backup quarterbacks in the league, and we laughed at our own 2 teams because who our backups were.
Yep.
Right? Like we were like, that goes down, we got Cooper Rush. If Carson Wentz goes down, we got I forget who it was at that time.
It was Nate Sudfeld. It was Nate Sudfeld at the time. No, Nate Sudfeld at the time.
So yeah, so Dallas bringing in Andy Dalton does nothing for Dak Prescott. You've already offered this man the franchise tag. You're already on the hook for $31 million. Okay, so that does nothing. All that does is to set you up in the event that he gets hurt, or in the event that he doesn't sign his franchise tag. But you're missing the point on Dak's contract. It's not about the money. It's all about the years. Dallas has a history of doing long-term deals, and Dak wants to get a 4-year deal. So when the TV money comes in, he can re-sign another contract. The money's agreed to. There's no issue with the 33, 34 million, the guaranteed money. He never asked for 40 million. His camp never asked for 40 million. All right. So he may have asked for Russell Wilson, which is 35. Listen, there's no reason for Dak Prescott not think he shouldn't reset the market for his position as a member of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, hear me out on this. Dallas has a history of making position players the highest paid at their position. That's what they do. So why should he expect that? And if you're going to tell me that he's not being a good teammate because he hasn't signed his tag, I have to vehemently disagree with you there. Because this man has the highest pressure quarterback position. There's no higher pressure position quarterback than being a Dallas Cowboy quarterback. And mind you, he's a 4th-round draft pick, as Mo said. Even with the deal that he signs, he's still going to be underpaid for people that he's outperformed. We watched Kirk Cousins get paid. We saw Carson Wentz get paid. We see Jared Goff get paid. Jimmy G got paid. Derek Carr got paid. He has outplayed all those cats. And yet we're going to scoff and say that he shouldn't be asking for this or asking for that. That's not fair. We can't begrudge any athlete for wanting to hold out for the money. And whatever he gets paid, that's what Dallas thinks he's worth. Doesn't matter whether we agree with it. That's what they think, and that's what he's going to get. So to be clear here, it's not about the money. It's about the years. It's about the length of the contract. And, you know, I saw your bold prediction.
When you're done.
Yeah, I saw your bold prediction that he's going to get traded or not. Listen, I'm going to say this to you guys, and you guys know this all too well. One thing that Barry Jones loves about the Dallas Cowboys is what? He likes to keep the Dallas Cowboys in the news, correct? As long Dak Prescott has not signed a contract, what are we talking about week after week? I will submit to you, gentlemen, that the contract's already done. They just waiting for a time where we just gonna sign it, so we can just go back.
I disagree. I don't think that the contract's done. I think if the contract was done, they would just sign it so they can get out of the news every single day about it. I think that they're still fighting on that 4th and 5th. I think I said it in my rant there. I think the only thing they're fighting back is that 4th and 5th year, and I think it's imperative for Dak. I think it's imperative for Dak's camp to stay strong in that 4th year. So this way, like you said, when the new TV deal comes up, they can re-up and everything, because he doesn't want to get caught in a situation to where he gets hurt again or anything like that. And I actually have a question. He's asking for 33 a year, right?
They offered 33. The last thing that I read concretely was the deal was 33 and 110 guaranteed.
Yeah, so then he'd be making. So he would.
I know that
he would be getting more than Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, like he should. Like he should, based off his numbers.
Exactly, and that's where he's at, right? I think he's okay with the annual with the AAV being lower, but he wants more guaranteed money than Jared Goff. Because I have to say that because Jared Goff has more guaranteed than Carson does, so he wants more guaranteed than Goff. But at the end of the day, when we talk about this contract, if we want to play a blame game, or if we want to say this should have been done or that should have been done, Dallas should have signed Dak last year. Dallas should have signed Dak before Carson signed.
I agree.
Then
did we have this conversation?
I'm not sure if we did or not, but listen, so going back to being a bad teammate, that's just hogwash. Being a bad teammate, in my eyes, is when you get suspended for 6 games and hurt your team, and you go out and you do something else stupid to where you get a letter from the commissioner that tells you if you have one more slip up, you're going to be indefinitely suspended, and then you decide that you're going to hold out on your contract with 2 years left, and you go to Cabo. That's a bad teammate.
The part that always puzzles me about this is that Cooper got paid, Zeke got paid, Dak was making peanuts, and he's the one throwing to Cooper. Cooper's staying to play with Dak, and he's the one handing the ball off to Zeke. And without Dak there, you can argue that Zeke wouldn't be the same running back. So you pay the most important player. The reason Ryan Tannehill got paid is because he's the most. Everybody knows that's the most important position in football. Whether you agree with what he got paid with or not, it's not what I'm saying. He got paid a bunch of money because he made the running back better. He made the Titans better. He plays the most important position on the field at the time, which is quarterback. So therefore, Tannehill got paid. That's why all these quarterbacks get paid more than everybody else, because they're playing the most important position. When Dak has to watch teammates around him take money, that's when I think he deserves it too. Go ahead, Victor.
That's what I'm saying. What they do. Go ahead, Vic, before we get out of here.
Can I? Okay. So I just want to add, I've never heard so many excuses for one man that I just heard right here. Okay.
Excuses, all
and I just want to say this, that
no excuses.
You hold on. You made a good point. You said the Dallas Cowboys are notorious for making players the highest paid at their position. And so with that being said, Dak's had a super team around him, in my opinion, since he's came into the league. Ezekiel Elliott, a top grade A+ offensive line, and always had wide receivers around him that could get the job done. Now, something else that, again, you guys failed to mention is how the Dallas Cowboy quarterback gets paid way more in endorsements than any other quarterback in the league.
Doesn't have anything to do with
you're playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
Doesn't have anything.
And you know that.
But it doesn't. That doesn't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with the contract.
And then my last thing, I know, but my last thing, and I'm gonna let you go,
sure.
is there. And I didn't mean to say that Dak Prescott was a bad teammate. Okay, that was a bad wording, but I'll put it to you like this. There's two relationships that is always going to be in sports, you guys, and that's the relationships with the team and coaches and the relationships with the owners. And I think that we've seen in some situations where sometimes it don't work out between that relationship, not talking about solely what's going on the field or on the court, but what's going on in the back office. Sometimes that doesn't always match up. And I've seen it where good players, because I'm not going to put Dak up there with great players. I'm not ready to do that. But with good players, sometimes they're expendable. And what I've said to you as far as that contract deal, you can't tell me that's not a genius move right now. You got a guy in-house who can get the job done in Andy Dalton, and you got a guy who doesn't want to play ball with the owner. When I said play ball, I mean with the owner, not with the team. You're right. I have no argument with anything he's been on the team besides the little coronavirus party. Just saying. Anyways, with that, I hand it to you.
So I'm gonna say this to you: nobody's disagreeing about the genius move about bringing Andy Dalton in, because that is a genius move. You give yourself an insurance policy, like I said, set yourself up for having.
So the genius move I'm talking about, is selling Dak and getting the first and
Hold on, let me finish. Now
that's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
That's the genius move.
That's fine. Well, you're wrong.
Sorry.
You're wrong on that part of the genius move. The genius move is putting yourself in position to have the best backup in the league. You can debate whether it's Dallas, whether it's New Orleans with Jameis. You can go either way, 1-2. Because Andy Dalton isn't the Andy Dalton that you read the stats off last year. Listen to what Andy Dalton said. He knows he's coming in to be a backup. He signed for $3 million for crying out loud. He's not getting starter money. Now, and it's a 1-year deal. Mike McCarthy doesn't become the coach of the Dallas Cowboys to trade away his quarterback. Secondly, so why is it that you're so bent on Dak not playing ball with Jerry? Why isn't it that Jerry's not playing ball with Dak? Why doesn't it go that way? Because let me answer that. Like we said, he's paid everybody else, but why is he reluctant to do a deal with Dak? Right? They come out, they repeatedly say Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the future. We believe in Dak. He's a leader. Blah 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 blah. They franchise the man, so it's not a matter if they want to pay him or not. They're trying to find a good amount, like anybody would, because you still want to be able to build your team. So let's not say that Dak's not playing ball with Jerry. Maybe Jerry and the Cowboys aren't playing ball with Dak.
Well, and I'll just say this, that I've seen it before, and that's why it looks like deja vu. It looks like Tennessee last year. We had our guy was set on Marcus Mariota. We bring in some guy on a 1-year contract. He ends up blowing up and then he gets the job. And so what I'm saying is, it looks a little bit deja vu to me.
Okay.
I can see it happening, and I'm not so bent on it. But what I'm looking at is the facts. And trust me, I'm not a Cowboy hater, nothing like that.
No, that's fine. But there's no facts. There's no facts, though. That's what I'm saying. You're basing two quarterbacks that were equal to two quarterbacks that are not. If Andy Dalton would have come in 5 years ago, then that's a problem. That's an issue, right? But like I said, Andy Dalton is not the Andy Dalton that made Pro Bowls or took his team to the playoffs all those years ago. Andy Dalton is getting up there in age. He's a very serviceable quarterback. He probably still could be a starter, and he could win games, but this roster that Dallas has put together. Tennessee was not set on Marcus Mariota. If they were set on Marcus Mariota, they wouldn't have brought in Tannehill, and they wouldn't have given the ship to Tannehill. So we can talk about the Marcus Mariota thing another time. Yes, Mo.
I'm sorry, you gotta rewind that. Andy Dalton can win regular season games.
I just said game.
That's a whole other topic for me. If Marvin Lewis wasn't the head coach for the Cincinnati Bengals, Andy Dalton would be making deep playoff pushes every time he made the playoffs. That's all I'm gonna say.
I can't disagree with that, Mo, because the numbers do speak for themselves, right? So, and I'll say
how many coaches before Marvin Lewis for Cincinnati made it to the playoffs, and then after Marvin Lewis?
That's a great question.
Just think about that.
That's a great. I know the answer to that. That's a great question.
It goes back to the.
It goes way back.
Well, hold on, right? They've only been without Marvin Lewis for what, 2 years now? I'm saying Marvin Lewis is a good regular season head coach. Why can you say Andy Dalton's a good regular season quarterback but not a good playoff quarterback? But once I say the coach is a good regular season coach but not a good playoff coach, it's different. It's the same thing.
Always the question. Right?
It's always the quarterback's fault. But if you go look at Andy Dalton's playoff numbers, they're not bad. His playoff numbers are not bad.
About Lamar Jackson. I didn't talk about Harbaugh. I talked about Lamar Jackson.
Can't talk about Harbaugh because he got a Lombardi.
Harbaugh also proved that he can make it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I guarantee you, if Harbaugh didn't have that Lombardi, you would have brought him up too.
I think the only coach in the entire NFL that we talked about in the regular season and postseason until last year when he won the Super Bowl was Andy Reid. He was the only coach that nonstop got trashed. He's a regular season head coach. He can't win in the playoffs. He chokes in a big game. Now all that's put to bed. But up until last year, he was the only coach that got ridiculed like that. Only one. Yeah, Marvin Lewis is coaching for 15 years, and in Cincinnati can't win a single playoff game, but it's Andy Dalton's fault now. Just Andy Dalton's fault.
Oh, don't even get me started on Gruden, man. I'm not a Gruden fan at all.
Also, one last thing, and I also think a big factor of Andy Dalton going to Dallas is that he's from Texas. He played college at TCU.
Sure, college at TCU, lives right there.
Yeah, I mean that's home.
It all makes sense. I mean, yeah, he's not coming in to be the starter, but it's a good option to have.
Yeah,
like I just asked you. For your team,
he was coming home.
Wouldn't you want that option? Like Mo, wouldn't you have wanted a quarterback of that caliber that could win season games?
Yeah, that's why
when Ben was out.
That's exactly why the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts, right?
I want it.
Listen,
get us the hell out of here. Get us out of here. Play the music.
I am.
Getting us out of here.
I just want to add this in a good reliable source just sent me a text and said Dak only beat one team with a winning record last season, the Rams.
Last season. That's cool.
Sorry, I just had that.
No, that's cool. We'll just put his last year in
the Eagles had it.
Because forget that since he's been in the league, there's only two quarterbacks that have won more. You know, we'll go with that. We'll see you guys next week, man. This has been the Hodge Podge Sports Show. I'd like to thank everybody that called in and check us out on Facebook Live. Man, thanks for rolling with us. Again, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there.
Be the bear bad news, but the show's over. Hope you enjoyed it. We can Debate and go back and forth all day long. Shout out to Raina Williams. Ain't another place to hold it down. You hold it down. Won't hesitate to bet my last on it. You hold it down, but you know it now. Pat and Sean with the dynamic duo on the best show around. Reverse 360 windmill. Vince Carter when we put it down. You're now rocking with the major leagues. Show be hitting like these other guys trying to ride the wave, but not like the day they get right out. Cause we on a whole nother level than them. They follow the trends, we the one that send them. Lay the smacker like Stone Cold, and that's the bottom line until we study something. These lame stations ain't saying nothing. They just talk their head, they voice or something. No better place to go vibe out the Hodge Podge Sports Show. Keep that heat coming like Palomalo in the backfield. Relax, chill, everything covered. When we move, full head of steam. Please off the track when the train coming. Wanna thank y'all for tuning in. A good time, what it's all about. Hope to catch y'all here next week. Same time, we'll be zoning out. And we encourage you to call. They bring it on. Just make sure that you're ill prepared and come hard and not at all. Verbal warfare, talking sports head. Let's get it on. And unless you stating facts, you ain't saying jack. Keep calm, carry on. 24 in that jersey, feeling something like Kobe. With a few seconds in that game, down two, but who worry? Throwing else to the competition. It make them sick to see us winning. Black Mamba mentality, see a better me and go get it. Yeah. You already know how we do, man. Hodge Podge Sports Show, man. Shout out my boys. Sean, what up?
What up?
Pat, what up? Yeah, thank y'all for tuning in, man.
We out.
Late.
Deuces.